Cam, good to see you. Loved reading your piece this morning. So who's really lying here?
Well, look, I mean, as far as there's a lot of games being played here, Laura. There really are. As far as the President Joe Biden goes, I think there's serious doubt that Joe Biden wasn't just playing politics when he said that he thought the French were aware that the submarine contract was terminated. In fact, Joe Biden's advisors definitely knew that contract had not been terminated. They had a 15-page document, which was a timeline of exactly how it was going to be announced to the world. That was jointly negotiated with Australia and Britain, and they certainly knew that the contract hadn't been terminated. So as far as Joe Biden's concerned, we don't know, of course, what happened in the Oval Office, but certainly there are questions as to why he said that, because his advisors certainly knew the contract was still in existence on September the 16th.
Yeah, the French certainly got signs. The Prime Minister was at pains to point out all the steps, all the text messages, all the phone calls, the meetings that didn't happen, but the exchanges between Emmanuel Macron. What do you think Macron would have been satisfied with? Because it is not feasible to think that Australia could have cancelled the contract with France, told him about the new deal, and it not have leaked.
That's true. I mean, there's no way that it would have leaked straight away. I mean, the moment they heard about it, Macron tried to call Biden and tried to get him to pull out of the new AUKUS pact. So, I mean, that shows exactly what the French should have done. And fair enough. I mean, it's a massive $90 billion contract as far as their country is concerned. So there was no way that you could actually, this notion that you could have somehow gently told France a few days before is really not possible. I mean, it's a fairly brutal realpolitik situation. If you're going to break a contract, you have to do it in secret. And that was done between three countries very carefully.
Indeed. So if we would have gone softly with France and pulled them into this, not agreement, but told them about the new deal, probably would have got Britain and the US offside.
Look, that's exactly right. I mean, I think the French situation was the French knew that the Australians were unhappy with the contract. I think Morrison did drop hints. It wasn't just Morrison that dropped hints. Other parts of the diplomatic arm were dropping hints. The French knew that the Australians were unhappy with the contract. However, they didn't think there was a plan B. They had no idea there was that secret plan B of AUKUS, and that's the trick. That's why the French were more confident that they could keep the contract going and fix it up, because they thought Australia had nowhere to go, and they were so blindsided by the creation of AUKUS, and that's what really ignited their fury, I think.
Well, that's blindsided by perhaps a little bit of their own arrogance as well, though, because the contract had blown out, now $90 billion. It was no longer on time, and the French were trying to get away with not fulfilling that local procurement part of the contract too.
Every single aspect of the contract was a battle, and that's, of course, because they were a monopoly player. You couldn't play the French off against anything. You couldn't fight them for better pricing and better timing and stuff like that. The French effectively had us over a barrel, which is Australia's fault for structuring the contract, in that way. But that's certainly why. And certainly the Australians knew the French would be angry, but more importantly, Laura, the Americans really underestimated the extent of the French anger. They thought the anger would be directed towards Australia primarily. That was Canberra's problem, they thought. But they were really shocked when the French withdrew the ambassador from Washington. It became front-page news in America. They were quite embarrassed by it. And I think that's why you're seeing Biden gently throw Australia under the bus in relation to this, to try and repair relations with France, which he didn't realise would be so badly damaged by this deal.
Perhaps not so gently. Nothing a good burgundy red couldn't fix, I reckon, Cam. Thanks so much.
Exactly.
Appreciate it.